everybody, I'm Josh, and welcome to another episode of Just Saying. Thank you. I have a good show for you today, so let's get it started by asking the question, what am I drinking? Can anyone guess? You're right, it's water! No, it's good old Mountain Dew. Funny story, though. I was just drinking water. That's right, I've cut back, people. That's why I've lost some weight. Producer man hasn't even noticed. Jerk. Asshole. Big asshole. Anyway. On the show this week, we're continuing our 4-part series on Dating 101, where I, someone who doesn't like to date, teaches you how to catch and keep the perfect person. And even though I announced I've been dating somebody, it's past the whole dating thing. Like, I don't want to even say we're dating, because we don't really date. We don't go out. Anyway. So, moving right along, I hope you'll join me next week when we close out our dating series with how relationships end. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll find out. I haven't written the show yet. Show. Anyway. It's time for the rundown. Hope you guys had a good week. My week was alright. It wasn't anything to write home about. Because I was depressed most of the week. I hate this week of the month. I hate Valentine's Day. It's so, here I'm doing a show about Valentine's Day and love, and I'm in love with somebody. Great. More power to me. But I hate Valentine's Day. It's a Hallmark holiday that's so commercialized that stores start setting up for it before Christmas ends. Can we get through one holiday before we start the next one, please? Anyway. But anyway, I was really depressed this week. Spent a lot of time in bed. Didn't get a lot of sleep at all. I caught up on that this morning as I woke up maybe about an hour ago, and it's 3:15 in the afternoon. I set 4 alarms, though, and they all went off, and I woke up to them all. I just rolled over. Anyway. But yeah, so what are you going to do? So I have an issue that I think I don't know what to do about. I think my dog is a mad scientist. I think she's a brilliant mad scientist, and granted, there's a lot of people. I've said from the beginning, I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. The light's on always, but not all the time. Is somebody home? I can't think of any more in my head right now. But I think my dog is smarter than I am. And here's why. There have been several times that I will even try to I will tell my dog to do something, and she'll do the complete opposite. So I'm like, producer man, watch this. She'll do this, and I'll tell her what she's gonna do, and I tell her to do it, and she does exactly what I tell her to do instead of what she normally does and ignore me. It's like she knows that I'm trying to get her to do what she normally does, so she does the opposite. For example, a couple days ago, well, let me back up by saying this. Throughout the past few years, I have noticed that my dog sneaks into the kitchen when I'm not home and eats off the counter. I've caught her doing it. So I got a baby gate, put it up between in the kitchen doorway, and I think but I don't put it like to the ground because she's big, so I know she can jump over it that low. So I try to raise it up a little bit, but I think I'm raising it up too much and she can crawl underneath it. Case in point, my bed is about a foot off the ground. And I have seen her crawling under my bed. So I know she can crawl under this thing. So I thought to myself the other night, I'm brilliant. I'm going to catch her. So I went in the kitchen, I put the gate up, which she was confused about to begin with. And then I put some treat on the floor, and I call her into the kitchen, and she's sitting right here, so I'm trying not to say certain words, or she'll get all excited and crappy annoying. So she comes over to the gate, starts, like, lowers her head below the gate, looks at me, backs up, and is like, how am I going to get in? There's a gate there, you moron. I know she was about ready to crawl under that gate until she realized I was trying to catch her. I'll get her one of these days. I'll get her. It's my mission. She's doing it to annoy me, and I'm going to get her. Mark my words. Speaking of my dog, last week I shared an email with you asking when the next Taser Versus video is going to be. I cannot confirm nor deny anything. I'm just saying you might want to watch next week. That's all I'm saying. And I do have a surprise coming up, but first let's get to the news. Congratulations goes out to the Kansas City Chiefs with their second consecutive Super Bowl win, 57 and 58 last Sunday by a score of 25-22 in overtime. And I have to say, here's my rundown of the whole Super Bowl. It sucked. Now, keep in mind, I'm in my 40s. Barely. But I'm in my 40s. And I grew up with Budweiser commercials, the Budweiser Clydesdales, the Spud McKenzie. I grew up with the classic Super Bowl commercials that you waited every year to see what the new one was going to be. And now they just suck. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of e-commerce. There's a lot of movie trailers. There's a lot of... No, get back to the classic commercials and make the Super Bowl what it used to be. Good. Halftime show. Please don't email me. I know it was Usher. It sucked. I'm sorry for all the Usher fans out there, and just because his name is Usher, I know it was supposed to be spectacular, but I grew up with Justin Timberlake and NSYNC. I grew up with Janet Jackson fashion faux pas. I grew up with the classics. And this year, it's just... I don't know. This year and last year, the game was better than both commercials and the halftime show. And this year, for the game to go into overtime was really cool. Kansas City tied it up with like 5 seconds left. I lost the bet against a friend, and no, it wasn't Producer Man. And no, for any family members watching, it wasn't for money either. Okay? Because I have none. A car in Austin, Texas drove through the ER this past week, hurting a handful of children in serious condition. The driver of the car passed away as he was driving into the hospital, not allowing, obviously, for him to stop, and crashed into the hospital. I haven't gotten an update on anyone that was injured, but only a handful were injured. Several of them kids in life-threatening injuries. I'm sorry, with life-threatening injuries. So my heart goes out to them. Also, I just want to say, speaking of the Super Bowl, I just want to say that you get everyone together, like the Kansas City fans, and you have a rally to celebrate your championship, and gunfire starts with an AR rifle. That is disgusting. I'm not going to get into gun control right now, because that could be a show on its own with my thoughts. Have your guns. I don't care. You don't need an assault rifle. Write the show. I don't care. I'll delete every one of them. Regardless. So somebody opened fire. One child was killed. I think they said like 20 were injured. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Brittany, and Patrick Mahomes have all donated money to the injured victims. But how sad is it that you can't even get together and celebrate a championship win anymore? I mean, just a couple of years ago, people were getting together to celebrate the 4th of July, and there was an open shooter. I mean, what is wrong with this country? Anyway, speaking of the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce literally ran over to Coach Reed, bumped into him, almost knocking him down, and yelled at him in his face. And apparently, shortly after that, they talked and they're fine. Travis Kelce, in a recent interview, said that he crossed a line and it was quote unquote unacceptable. Quote, I love playing for the guy. Sometimes my passion comes where it looks as though it's negativity, but I'm grateful Reed knows that it's all because I just want to win. So apparently they're all right, but I would have pulled the guy. Granted, it was a championship game, and I can understand the dynamics going at that time, but still, no. Here's a producer man story because it's stupid. Southwest Airlines had another fight on one of their flights. Two men that were arguing about something no one could quite understand, and they weren't together. Were arguing about something until the one in front turned around and started using the other one, quote, as a punching bag, end quote. Flight attendants as well as other passengers subdued the two. They were detained when they reached Florida. There was a flight from Oakland to Florida. I'm sorry. When they reached Hawaii, it was a flight from Oakland to Hawaii. And it's not unsure right now as to whether charges were filed. But that's a producer man story. And finally, this is my favorite story all week. You can always tell which ones are my favorite stories because I always save them for the end. And I'm going to try to set this up so you don't know what's going on until the very end. So, okay, here's the setup. A sheriff's deputy named Jesse Hernandez and his female partner were out arresting someone. They handcuffed him, frisked him, put him in the back of the patrol car, talking, doing something, I don't know. When all of a sudden, Deputy Jesse Hernandez thought he heard what he thought was gunshots, so he did the little jump and spin move, like you see in all the TV shows, emptied his clip into the back of the car, causing his partner to react the same way, even though she doesn't know what was going on. Keeping in mind, there's a prisoner in the back seat of the car, and they're shooting into the back of the car. He was never injured, but it turns out it was not gunshots at all. It was an acorn falling on the patrol car. Now, I have heard acorns hitting cars before. I have an acorn tree, or an oak tree, or whatever tree acorns come on. Yet I know the most random shit. But I don't know what kind of a tree an acorn comes from. Anyway, I have an acorn tree behind my house. I have heard acorns hitting cars before. None of them sounded like gunshots. Let alone one. Really? And he didn't turn around and all of a sudden say, hey, there's an acorn on top of my car. Regardless to say, after investigation, they determined that Deputy Hernandez, quote, overreacted, which I think is an understatement. No injuries were caused, even to the passenger in the back seat. Hernandez did resign as a result. No charges were filed between either Hernandez or the person that they had arrested, because he got shot at. Anyway. All right. So it's time for the surprise. Get on the edge of your seats. Since the writer's strike is over, Producer Man has been begging me to bring back this segment, or this sketch, and I finally brought it back to shut him up. And because it's one of my favorites, it's time for Is That Too Far? That's right. Speaking of that, before we get there, let's pretend that never happened. Can we take that off the screen real quick? Please, Producer Man? Thanks. It's time for the bullshit question of the week. And it took me a couple times to read this one because it's kind of confusing how to read it. But now that I know how to read it, it'll make sense to you guys. Here we go. What president bought into the peanut butter and mayo hoax in which false alarm was raised that young Americans were injecting themselves with condiments as a way to get high? Was it A, Richard Nixon, B, Jimmy Carter, or C, Gerald Ford? The answer is... duh, Richard Nixon, because he's a moron. Anyway. Now it's time for the return of Is That Too Far? I'm not going to build it up again because you already know it's coming. So I had to look up my old, back in season 9 was the last time I did this, and I had to look at one of those scripts for the spiel that I'm about ready to get into because I forgot what I say. It's been so long. It's been 3 seasons. So without further ado, it's time for the return of Is That Too Far? And for those of you who have never seen the sketch, here's how it works. I have a list of about 20 jokes, and I have a dark sense of humor. I never know what really crosses the line. And so I have a member of the FCC sitting right over there. Every time I tell a joke, I'm going to ask, is that too far? If you hear this noise, that means the joke's gone way too far. We have to stop the sketch immediately. It could be after the first joke, third joke, 19th joke, but after the 20th, I don't care because that's all I got, and that would make for a really long sketch. Hold on tight. Here we go. A new play will open in London next year called Cowboys and Lesbians. Said audiences, I can't tell which is which. Is that too far? No, we're good. We got the thumbs up. Excuse me. A group of black women announced that they will be climbing to the top of Mount Everest next year. Turns out there's a nail salon on top. Is that too far? Nope, we're good. We're good. He's laughing at that one, kind of. A coffee house in Ithaca has started a social group for lesbians. A social group for lesbians, or as better known, the military. Is that too far? No, we're good. We're good. We're 3 deep, people. That didn't come out right. That's what she said. Something gonna happen? Oh. Okay. You scared me. I thought you had a surprise for me. And I don't like your surprises. According to a recent article... yeah, that's the one I want. According to a recent article, due to the stress of racism, many African Americans are leaving the U.S. That's too bad, said white people lying. Is that too far? His hand's hovering. Nope, we're good. We're good. We're good. Subaru has announced that they plan to unveil 3 new electric cars by the year 2026, which means lesbians will now own 2 things that are battery operated. Is that too far? No, he's laughing at that one. He's laughing at that one. I'm kind of worried about this next one, people. This could be the end of Is That Too Far for the week. Princeton University's newspaper recently published an article stating that African American studies is for everyone, whereas Princeton was only meant for white people. Oh no! That sound means that joke went just a little too far. We have to end the sketch immediately. But don't worry, it's time to start some funny photos. I didn't set that up right, so we're going to pretend like I never said that. It's time for the first segment, and this is where I'm getting out my teacher's hat, because a lot of engaged couples are so happy that they're getting engaged and they're going to get married and that she has a wedding to plan and she can finally have the wedding of her dreams. And then you read the newspaper and realize that your names look really funny together. That's right. It's time for my favorite thing I do once a year. It's time for Funny Photos Wedding Announcement Edition.
Drop it.
For example, and I just want to clarify that these are all real. I didn't make any of these up. For example, how would you like an invitation to the Peters Stuckenschneider wedding? The Peters Stuckenschneider. I mean, my last name is hard to spell, let alone Stuckenschneider. Here's the next one. How about an invitation to the Long Wee Wee wedding? I wonder what they're going to get for presents. Here's the next one. How about the Best Lay wedding? That's obviously now you know why they're getting married, because it's the best lay. If I have to explain the joke, people, it's not funny. And you're making me look like a moron. Even more so than I already am. Here's the next one. Rough goings. Exchange vows. Congratulations to the rough goings. It was a little bit rough. They had some tough times during the wedding. Here's the next one. It's the, and I know this is probably not how it's pronounced, but it's the come on top of me wedding. Better yet, how about an invitation to the Beaver Aiken wedding? To anyone whose last name is Beaver, I'm so sorry. Because, damn! Get it? Beaver Dam? Ha ha! It was funnier in my head. Here's the next one. How about the Party More wedding? Or how about an invitation to the Wang Holder wedding? How about an invitation to the Hunt Capture wedding? And it looks like he's the one that's captured because look at his face. She's all excited and he's just like, now I have to get married. You know, I love announcements when people announce that they have been together for many, many years. It means a lot to me to see old people celebrating and still so much in love. The other day I was at work and this old couple walked out of the store holding hands. You never see that anymore. It's like once it gets to be a certain age, it's just like, I love you, Sebastian. Because he and I kind of started a fight the other day. We were talking about this specific picture, and he kind of was like excited about, oh yeah, that'd be nice. I can't believe they're married, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he was saying. And then all of a sudden, I opened my stupid mouth and said, can you imagine being married to somebody for that long? And he just went silent. I'm like, oh wait, love you. Okay, bye. Anyway, I want to congratulate, and I know this is an old picture, so they're probably not celebrating this one anymore, but congratulate them on their golden anniversary. And the congratulations goes to Mr. and Mrs. Dig Coffin. You cannot make this up, people. Cannot make these things up. One thing you want to look for when you're looking for the perfect person is someone that can handle honey-do lists. Because you know, women will always have them. They never get shorter, but they always get longer. That didn't sound right. Anyway, I'm just going to move on. It's time for some bad construction fails in this week's edition of DIY. So this first one, my only question is, how do you not know as you're putting it together that it doesn't look right? Because something just tells me this chair is not going to work. Like how? After this episode posts, I'm probably going to get a phone call from somebody I know and be like, dude, you've done that before. And it's probably going to be Producer Man. He's probably going to send me a picture of it because he's like that. Here's the next one. Now, I said this at the beginning of the show. I said this at the beginning of the series of my show. I am not the brightest bulb in the box. I'm not the sharpest tool in the drawer. That didn't come out right. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. But I know that a rain spout should not be pointed towards an electrical outlet. Maybe it's just me. Like I said, I'm not an electrician. Maybe it's okay. I'm just saying. Here's the next one. Now, I don't know whose brilliant idea this was, but could you imagine going downstairs and having the stairs look like this, like that would make me really dizzy. I don't know why, but it would. And there's something about stairs that if they're even a centimeter too high, you'll fall. You'll trip over them. Because everybody is just like they know how big a step should be. But that's just like when I first saw that, I was like, that's weird. A bunch of skateboards like that. Then I realized they're steps. I mean, it looks cool, but I wouldn't want to be going down them. Anyway, here's the next one. Why? Why even put a top on the door? Like, that just looks... Why? Just cut the door short, because the top of that door is not doing anything anyway. Here's the next one, I hope. Now, I'd like to dedicate this one to my father. I'm not saying my father has this, but my father loves DeWalt. And, Dad, if you have this in your tool shed, or in your toolbox, I'm not gonna get any tools out of it anymore. I'm just saying. That's the perfect way for me to stop stealing tools. Is to turn your bottom drawer into a toilet. Just saying. That's got to be like a bachelor cave or something that absolutely no women would ever go into. Now, I admit when I'm wrong, and I have done this next thing before. You know, when you're putting something together and you're by yourself, you're just like, I need something to hold it up over there so it's not pulling over here while I'm trying to attach it. And so you get a chair and you put it between the legs of the chair because it's got that little bar, and then when you're done you realize, oh wait, it's stuck there. It sounded like a great idea at the time. And I've done that before. And Producer Man was there, and he didn't even stop me. He didn't even realize it. So I'm not the only idiot in our friendship, okay? I'm just the one that admits to it. Here's the next one. If you're afraid that your toilet is coming apart from the seat and they're not connected anymore, fear not. It's like my friend always said, use duct tape. It's like the Force. It's got a light side, a dark side, and it holds the universe together. Or a toilet to a wall. Whatever. Here's the next one. If I can click on it. There we go. Now, again, I'm no electrician. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. I'm not even the sharpest knife in the drawer. I really need to come up with more of these. But I know that this is not a good idea. And finally, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. I don't know what they were trying to even fix. But please don't do this to your faucet and stick a screwdriver down it. Like, why? Now, for my next sketch, or for my next segment, I'd like to show everyone why I don't go to Walmart. That's right, everybody. It's time for the segment where I show off my golden rule. If I have to see it, you have to see it. It's time for the things you can't unsee. People of Walmart edition. Now, I'm joking. I love Walmart. People of Walmart, please don't come get me. Please don't email the show. I just particularly don't like shopping in Walmart. It has nothing to do with what I'm about to show you. I am not making fun of anyone in the pictures. I am making fun of the pictures. I know that may not sound right, but it makes sense in my head. This first one and the last one are my two favorite in the whole day. They're my two favorite pictures because something must have really surprised this person. And the face this person is making is just hilarious. How can that not make you chuckle? At least a little chuckle. I mean, seriously. So, you guys have all heard or seen the signs on doors that say no shirt, no shoes, no service. Apparently this person didn't realize that until they got to the store, so what better thing to cover yourself up with than a big cardboard box? Whereas this next person couldn't even find the cardboard box and just went without a shirt on. I'll just hold my sodas in front of my boobies. Maybe no one will notice. This next one, I kind of like this picture. It's definitely not an outfit I would wear. And I'm not liking the outfit. But I'm liking the hair. Because, boy, would that have taken some time. Unless it's a wig, then I'd feel completely stupid. Which is not anything new, but whatever. Now, I'm not going to say anything with this next picture, because like I said, I'm not making fun of people. I'm making fun of pictures that people post online about other people. I'm not going to say anything. Enjoy. Here's the next one. How does this person even wash their hair? Like, seriously. I don't, I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's the next one. You have to have a specialness about you to be an elderly person walking around Walmart with a shirt that says leg rests. I mean, you have to be great or proud of your performance, even though no one else may be. At least you think you're awesome. Here's the next one. You ever heard of plumber's crack? Shopper's crack. Now, I have to say this really blatantly. It's because of this show that I have started wearing a belt. Because I don't want to be the person in a picture that I show because my butt crack is hanging out. You have to be able to feel the cold air. I mean, how do you not realize half of your butt is missing? Or not missing. That would be really weird. Half of your butt is showing. Anyway. Here's the next one. And here I thought I was gay. And finally, that's right, it's time for my other favorite picture of the day. Now, I have no idea what this person is mad at. Maybe she's a Karen. Maybe she's mad she didn't get a bra on. Maybe she's mad because someone took the last donut. I don't know. But this person is really mad, and it makes me chuckle when I see people this mad. What a way to end the show today. Anyway. Thank you for joining me this week. I know the show wasn't very special, but I hope I made it a little funny. Anyway, if you think there's something funny I should see and share on the show, be sure to send it to me. There are my socials. I really don't use Twitter anymore, mainly because I can't log in. I don't know. I use this login, this one right here, this one right there. There. I use that one, and it says I can't be found. So I don't know what's happening. As soon as I get my Twitter up and working, I'll tell you when it's working. But otherwise, there's the show email. You can send me stuff. Or, if you have a second, because I'm going to blab here for a minute, Please like, subscribe, comment below, and get the notifications anytime I post one of my episodes, which is every Sunday for the next 12 weeks. Or 11. I don't know what episode I'm on. Anyway. So yeah. Be sure to join me next week when we close out our Dating 101 month. And Professor Josh retires for the rest of the year. And I can't confirm or deny anything, but there might be a Taser versus video. I'm not saying anything. I'm sworn to secrecy. Taser had me sign a DNA. A do not reset. Yeah, no. What is it called? NDA. An NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I'm thinking do not assume or do not resuscitate. Yeah, my dog would make me sign a DNR. Just because that's the type of person my dog is. If that made any sense whatsoever. Anyway. Let's just sit here and stare at each other for a little bit. Okay, I'm good. That was kind of creepy. So anyway, be sure to join me next week. Once again, while we close out Dating 101. And next month, it's Luck Month. We be the luck of the Irish. And I promise don't have a better Irish accent. They all sound the same. Top of the morning to you. I always sound like I'm a British Australian guy. No matter, even if I'm trying to do a Russian accent, that's what it sounds like. I'm horrible with accents. I really am. I don't know. I'm better at hosting shows than doing cartoon characters, okay? Okay. Until next week, everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy, stop the hate, and until next week, that is all I'm saying.